be Miguel Mendez, General Miguel. Our odd counter today will be Marilyn Johnson. Miss Marilyn, would you be so good as to tell us what you'll be doing as our odd counter?
Yes, hello, Inspirational Toastmasters. I am your odd counter, Miss Marilyn J. And what I will be listening for is ahs and ums, pauses, double clutches, all those kind of space fillers that we use when we're speaking.
Thank you, Miss Marilyn J. Appreciate that. Today, our table topics master is set to be Sandra Merrill. I don't see her, but I would like to ask Arturo if he would like to hop into that role and be the magical table topics master. Arturo, are you willing? Pardon?
I think Sandy said she's coming back.
Yeah,
she just had to step out.
Oh, okay. She's stepping out and stepping back? Well, if she doesn't come back, Arturo, raise your hand if you're willing to be the master.
Yes, I am not prepared, but I'm willing to go for it. Yes.
I appreciate it. You don't have to be prepared. That's part of table topics, you know, getting a curveball thrown, and you caught it. So excellent. We appreciate that. Our timer today is Michael Aragon, the Prince of Aragon. Michael, would you be so good as to tell us what you'll be doing for us in the meeting today?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Janet. Today I will be timing the speeches and the different functions of the meeting. When you hit your minimum requirement for the meeting, for Mimi, that will be 5 minutes for her speech. I will put up this sign that says green. When you hit the midpoint, you'll be yellow and red. Oh, is that are you seeing that backwards?
No, okay, it's forward.
Okay. Okay, good.
Hold it up a little higher. Put it in front of your face so we won't see it.
Okay,
there we go.
Put it closer.
And if you flash it, if you move it like that, then the speaker who's so involved with what they're saying will actually be distracted enough to recognize that you're trying to get their attention.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael of Aragon. I just like saying that. Catherine of Aragon, Michael of Aragon. And today, ladies and gentlemen, our word master, or should I say word mistress, will be Chinita Davis, your friend. Chinita Davis, your friend, please unmute yourself and tell us the word of the day and what it means and use it in a sentence so we can do that. Thank you. You have to get yourself unmuted so we can hear you. Okay. I have lips as well as I thought.
Since I am also being put on the spot, but I'm coming up with word, it just coming to my mind. The universe. I don't see it. I'm looking. Let's see. Hold on. Where am I at? I'm going to.
I put a word in easy speak.
Well,
if you want that one, but if you want to go ahead and come up with a new word, go for it.
Here I go. I'm coming up with a new word. Right. The word that's coming to me from the universe is frivolous. The word of the day is frivolous, and Google says the definition of frivolous. 1 second. Frivolous.
This one I know.
Ask Siri.
1 more second. Everybody be quiet. I want to hear what Google says. 1 second. Frivolous. Not having any serious purpose or value. Rules to stop frivolous lawsuits. So it's an adjective. This is an adjective. Frivolous, fun-loving, flappers of the 20s is an example of frivolous.
Thank you, Chinita Lynn, your friend. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I have a question, and that is, I saw Sandy Merrill up, then I don't see her, so she'll be in and out. Anyone? Okay, excellent. I have to say that it's not frivolous to come to a Toastmasters meeting. And in terms of frivolous lawsuits, that means that you're just taking up space and it's not going to amount to anything. So frivolous really has to do with goofing around or keeping some kind of attention on a topic and it's not going anywhere, which is, goofing around. You're not going anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to put together the information for you to keep in mind. We're going to do very likely a round robin evaluation for maybe the motivators talk. So I'm going to put in this information for you to keep in mind as you listen to her give her talk, that there are several leadership styles. As we know, Mimi wears many hats and has to switch between them. Today, she will talk about the importance of switching up your leadership style. In this talk, she's doing team collaboration number 2, understanding your leadership style. The speech is 5 to 7 minutes. She's going to share some aspect of a chosen leadership style or leadership styles in general, discuss style preferences when working with others, how to adapt the chosen leadership style to situations or leadership styles in general, and how they impact the group. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mimi the Motivator. And we do this kind of clapping because you don't have to hear it, but you can see it.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Now, I changed hats today, ironically, and it just fits the occasion is what I feel like. Now, you're probably thinking, what does my hat have to do with leadership? Well, like we talk about, a Toastmaster wears many hats. And if you have been in Toastmasters for a little while, you have definitely figured that out, that you wear different hats. And part of those hats is usually taking on the role of leadership. Now, one of the values that I have found in Pathways recently, even more so, is the assessment tools that they give us. They give us an assessment for our communication style, and then they give us an assessment for our leadership style. And that is the one that I took today. And I've done this project about 2 years ago. So I was surprised today to see that my leadership style has changed. Only slightly though, but my 2 top styles that were both scored at 23 were democratic and authoritative. Now, I was happy to see that the worst scoring one was bureaucratic, which means I just tell you what to do, expect you to do it, and I'm going to whip you if you don't do it right. Now, if you know me in real life, you know my personality is slightly like that. Ironically, I did a training with my own personal team. I just hired 2 people for my team, and we did this weekend retreat. And at the end of it, I asked my team, so what did you expect this weekend? My operations manager said, a whole lot of profanity. I was like, but he was like, no, really. He was like, they call it cussing out. I don't typically use cuss words unless you push me to the limit, but I do get sassy, okay? And I do get aggressive. But that lended to the change in my leadership style that I did see, which was authoritative. And I was like, yeah, that's me now, where it was more altruistic in the past. Now, altruistic was at number 22. So it was right, just 1 point less and still up there. Because if you know me, I'm always considering the other people. I want people to be involved. I find that being a leader is empowering other people. I don't find that being a leader is just delegating and telling people what to do. That's a manager. Now, as a manager, yes, you do have to have leadership skills as well, but every manager does not have that. Some managers just want to boss you around. They're bureaucratic. I guess it is a style. But I really dove deep into what was the differences between democratic and authoritative, and how did this combination work for me? Well, the thing that I saw is that with a democratic approach to things, you include more people's decisions. But if you don't have a lot of time on your hands, or if you're working with a team that may not be as skilled or as experienced as you or as knowledgeable as you, then that just doesn't serve well, because it's going to take a long time to accomplish nothing. That's those long meetings that just go on and on and on, and then you're done and there's still no fruit. No decisions have been made, no compromises, no arrangements, no clear objectives, that's what's going on there. That's when it's time for me to switch my hat and pull out my authoritativeness. Because in a time crunch, you don't have time to take a consensus. You definitely don't have time to build consensus, because that's what's going more with the altruistic leader. They're attempting and hopefully successfully building consensus, which means getting everybody involved and hopefully not frivolously. You can't be frivolous as a leader. You can't be frilly. You can wear frilly clothes. I can wear cute hats. But at the end of the day, I know and understand that I have to be able to flex all these different leadership styles. And there's probably a time where I do have to be bureaucratic, whether I like it or not. There's a time and place for every style of leadership. So if you haven't gotten to this path or to this project on your path, I look forward to hearing what your style is for sure. But what's important is once you learn what your different styles are, see where they're most effective and where you may need to switch them up. I definitely learned, like in my communication style, because your communication style plays into your leadership style, how you deliver or present the information or present the request, call it what you want, makes a difference. It makes a difference in people adhering to what you're asking them to or them being resistant. I deal with a lot of high performance leaders. They know their stuff, which means I can't babysit them and I can't micromanage them. Because if I did that, I think they'd be out the door. They definitely would give me pushback. This is where I am having to be democratic. This is where I do empower them and allow them to weigh in on the big decisions that are being made. I may be CEO and I am responsible for all the decisions that are made and the results thereof. But I think it feels good to me when my team is involved. I think it feels good to my team when they're involved. So in these last couple of minutes, I want you to grade me as a leader. So get your fingers ready. Let me see your fingers in the air. Let me see where your fingers at. All right. We got 1 minute to make this happen. So if you had to grade me on a scale of 1 to 10 on being altruistic, what would you say? Which means I keep the other person in mind. 1 to 10, make it fast. Next question. If you had to grade me on a 1 to 10 on being authoritative, what would you say? All right. And then lastly, being democratic. Let other people weigh in on the decisions. 1 to 10, what would you say? All right. Well, I love that you all participated and gave me some feedback, because you see yourself one way, but typically the people that you work with, they see you a different way. So I want to challenge us all to make sure that we definitely complete this project on pathways of understanding your leadership style, and then test it out on your people and see what do they say. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mimi the Motivator. I appreciate that. That was definitely not a frivolous talk. That was very to the point. I have to say that as a mother, both my children have definite opinions on my leadership style. I think I'm democratic and thoughtful, and they think I'm bossy. And they say, "You're yelling." I said, "I never raise my voice. I am telling you what to do." That said, we will move on to the next portion of our meeting, which is a very fun one. And I don't see Sandra, but I do see Master Arturo. And if you would be so good as to take it away, Master Arturo, Master of Table Topics.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. I love table topics because it allows, at least for me, it allows me to just work on my think on my feet, build my think on my feet muscles, and we could all benefit from that. Right now, I'm actually going to be practicing thinking on my feet right now. So I would like to pick Shanita as our first speaker. And the question that I have for you is, what if there was one thing you could do that you could do all the time, what would that one thing be?
The one thing that I could do all of the time, 100% of the time, is whatever I want to do. That would be if a genie said, you can pick one thing that you want to do all the time. It's whatever I want. I want to be able to just decide, okay, I want to live in Florida for 6 months and, enjoy the weather there, and then live in California for 6 months. If I want to spend time with different family members, friends, go out to eat, just enjoy whatever I want. That I would be smart enough to pick something broad like that, not just one, like eat hamburgers or eat lobster or something. No, I want to have the ability to do anything I want to do. Thank you very much.
Sounds good. Thank you, Shanita.
You're welcome.
Arturo, Master Arturo, Michael had to step away for a moment, and I'll take over the timing business, if that's okay.
I think also Sandy's back too, if she wants to roll back.
Oh, good. Yay, Sandy, you can time. Or she's doing the table topics, I guess. I'll still time till Michael gets back.
If not, I can keep going.
You do know what theme you're rolling with already, and you do know who you've already called on. So, so it may be for the best for you to keep going.
Yes.
Hold on, and I would not be frivolous with that one wish.
Oh no! Do you have a word of the day? I had to drop out pretty early.
Frivolous.
Am I being frivolous for asking about the word of the day just so I can sneak it in a few times? I'm really sorry. I may need to drop out again too, but I would not.
Did you just accidentally or purposely use the word of the day, asking for the word of the day?
I think so.
I think it wasn't accidental at all. It wasn't a frivolous accident, was it?
No. And I want you to know I take Toastmasters very seriously. I would not frivolously drop off this meeting if I did not have to.
Well, the word of the day is frivolous.
Fantastic. All right. Our next question is going to be for Miss Marilyn J. Miss Marilyn J., what is your biggest pet peeve?
Hello, Toastmasters. My biggest pet peeve, that is an interesting question. But I would say that I am a stickler for service, really good service. So in my career, hopefully in my life, I have made a big effort to give good service. And if I'm supposed to be there, paying attention, listening, doing this at the moment, at the time, focused on you, that's what I'm going to be doing. And when I pay my money, that's what I expect. So especially in cases of maybe going into a retail store or even going into a restaurant, I expect really, really good service. And a pet peeve of mine is for someone to walk around and ignore you, be trying not to look at you, do their best not to say nothing to you, and be all up in your space and know you are there. And it drives me crazy. Like, it's your job right now. Hello, service. I'm a stickler for service. And part of good service means even if you can't take care of me, communicate with me, and I'll be like, cool, sitting over there, like chilling long as I know what's up. But pet peeve of mine is to be ignored and not to be helped when it's your job to do it. And if you can't help me, just tell me. I'm okay with that.
Thank you, Miss Marilyn J. I would agree with you. That is one of my biggest pet peeves as well. Especially me being I work in the retail, so I know what you mean. All right, our next person is going to be Mr. Michael. And Mr. Michael, what if you had all the money in the world, money wasn't an issue, you didn't have to work, what would you do every day? Where would you live? What would you eat?
Thank you, Arturo. If I had all of the money in the world, what would I eat? I would eat ice cream every day. That would not be a problem. That would not be a question. Where would I live? I would, this is a hard question because there's lots of places I would like to live. So maybe if money's not a problem, I'll just have multiple houses just everywhere. One in Colorado Springs because Colorado Springs is amazing, great weather. One in my home town of the Twin Cities in the cold Minneapolis. So maybe in the springtime I can go visit friends there. What would I do? I think if I have unlimited money, then I would definitely want to share the wealth and help people who need the money that in ways that I don't need it. I think that makes sense. But help people who have a hard time with finding a job, people who around the world who their jobs don't pay well, and help them have good water, good shelter. And I would think that's what I would actually want to spend my time doing if money was not a problem. Thank you, Arturo.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. Thank you. Our next speaker is gonna be Miss Sandy. Miss Sandy, are you ready for our next question here?
Sorry, someone just jumped in with a question. Do you have a question for me? I heard my name while I was talking to someone else.
Yes.
This is kind of unavoidable lately.
I got a question here.
Make it a good one
here for you. Yes. Okay. So, okay. If you could talk about anything without ever losing enthusiasm, what would that topic be about?
Interesting question. And I could take this either way. If it was something that I would just enjoy talking about without ever losing enthusiasm, it would probably be something like beer and cheese, preferably beer cheese, because I love to eat and cheese is my favorite food. Beer enhances cheese. And see, I could just go on for the rest of my life talking about things to do with different beers and different cheeses and what they go well with. But I don't think that's what people want to hear about endlessly. And something else I could talk about forever and ever without losing actual enthusiasm, although I might now and again lose a little tiny glimmer of hope, is putting an end to Alzheimer's disease and other dementias, because it hasn't had a lot of progress. Who's the timer, by the way? I'm trying to look for Michael and I don't see him. There he is. I'm on green. Okay. But if I get to my very last day on this planet and I don't see an end to Alzheimer's disease, I'm going to be ever so mad. So I will enthusiastically keep talking about it until we've talked about it enough and raised enough awareness and found a treatment or a cure for it. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Miss Sandy. That is very selfless of you. You are willing to talk about one of your favorite topics, which is cheese and beer, but you're also willing to be selfless and think of other people as well. And Miss Toastmaster, do we have time for one more?
Yes, I'm hoping you will rope in Miguel.
Yes, he was actually going to be the next person. Mr. Miguel, if you're there, if you could have one superpower, like you wake up tomorrow morning and you have any superpower you want, what would that superpower be?
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. I believe it would be between one and two different things based on the rules of that super power universe, the genie, or whatever may come of that, it would be either one, to stop time, or two, to be ageless. The reason I choose one of those is because I have so many interests. I am such a curious person, and I just never have the time of day to pursue all the things I want to do. Between dancing and lifting and music and trading and real estate and all of these things that I just enjoy doing. And I love talking with fascinating people who are way too interested in one topic, mainly because I'm kind of the same way. And it's just fascinating to sit down and talk with somebody who knows all these little intricacies of what seems to be smaller topics. Just because I think it's the mind of the person who gets into this interest that is far more like captivating than maybe even the topic itself, just the way that they think about it, the way that they approach it, the level of curiosity that I see in other humans. And sometimes it's just something that's completely different, something I've never experienced before. And it's just a different way of thinking. It's a different type of brain that it just approaches something with such a curiosity, a methodology, a passion, and just something that it just gets them out of their head and gets them to connect with something different in a different way. So I would probably choose to be ageless, something to choose time, something to give me more time to be more curious. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Miguel. You seem like a very driven person, and I love that. I admire people like that. Those are the type of people I love to associate with. Like everybody here is very bright, and I just love meeting people like that who are that driven. All right, so back to you. So I would say let's cash in. Let's vote for our best table topics. We got Shanita that she said she could do anything. She would do whatever she wants, whatever her heart desires, she would do. Miss Marilyn J. Miss Marilyn, she talked about her pet peeve, how it's generally bad customer service, and I can completely relate with that. I just experienced that today, unfortunately. So it's interesting how you talked about that, Miss Marilyn J. Mr. Michael, he talked about what he would do if he had all the money in the world. Money wasn't an issue. He says he would share the wealth. He wouldn't just keep it for himself, and he would eat ice cream every day. And then Miss Sandy, she talked about if she could talk about anything without ever losing enthusiasm. One, it would be beer and cheese. I would be very curious about what kind of combinations are out there for beer and cheese. Very curious. But she would also talk about Alzheimer's as well. She's very selfless. And then Mr. Miguel, if Mr. Miguel had a superpower, he would either stop time or he would become ageless, because he is a very curious person and just wants to discover more of his interest, dive deeper and deeper into his interest, which I respect and admire. So vote for your best speaker. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Arturo, master of the table topics. We have another part of our meeting. I am remiss, but I was not being frivolous, because we need to take 1 minute and consider what we would like to say in our evaluations, round robin style, for Mimi the Motivator. It will likely be 15 to 20 seconds, but we'll take 1 minute on the clock so that we can collect our thoughts and help Mimi with her leadership superpowers. Thank you.
1 minute is up.
Thank you, Michael the timer, the timely man. And now we come to the portion of our meeting that we've all been waiting for, the evaluation, the build-up and construction of our meetings and our roles. And that wonderful task belongs to Miguel Mendez today. General Miguel, take it away. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam President and Madam Toastmaster for the day. So we're going to go ahead and get this going. So I'm just going to call out your name. I believe, Miss Toastmaster, that we have 1 to 2 minutes for our portion of the evaluation. Is that correct?
Typically, we would if we had one evaluator for the speaker. However, we're doing a round robin, which means each person will give 15 seconds of fame on behalf of Mimi's evaluation.
15 seconds. Are we going to have the timer for that?
Very likely we'll need that. He'll just
Sure.
he can put his hand up or whatever. Just so you know, you'll have 30 seconds, but 15 seconds you should shoot for, and that way you don't go over.
15, 30 seconds. Okay, this will be rapid fire, guys, so we will just be going. So yeah, so this is going to be a round robin. We're all going to take 15 to 30 seconds to give our feedback to Mimi, what we liked about her speech, or maybe anything that you notice, anything that can help her to grow as a leader, as a speaker. So Art, I will be handing this off to you. Let's get this going.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Here's what I have here for Mimi. Mimi, great hand gesture. You took your time. I feel like this was like a one-on-one conversation. Great eye contact. You used the word of the day, so your speech was not frivolous at all. Dressed sharp. You were dressed sharp today. What I really loved about your speech is it was easy to digest content. And you got people involved. That's something that not all speakers get. So that is my feedback.
Thank you, Art. Miss Shanita Lynn, are you ready?
Yes, I enjoyed how organized Mimi's thoughts are. You can tell that the information is in note form in her mind, plus on paper. The notes that she uses shows that she's able to just speak very clearly and understandable, and we really appreciate your knowledge transfer.
Thank you, Shanita. So, and I will ping this back to Janet Sellers for your portion of the evaluation.
Hi, Mimi. Thank you so much for your talk. I'm just going to go really fast. Good vocal variety, good eye contact. You talk very fast in some areas and at my speed in others. So keep that in mind when you have an audience that is fast at looking and slow at listening. I liked this time that you finished your words. Sometimes you say, instead of ing, you say just the end part, or you use a portion of the words. It's much, much, much more powerful when you complete the words. And when you don't, if you just use those as little punctuations, that makes it powerful. Thank you so much. Impactful delivery. Thank you.
Thank you to our queen of everything. And Michael, if you are ready, let's see if you can time yourself.
I think the one thing that I thought was fun about Mimi's speech, about your speech, Mimi, was the voting at the end, a little unexpected, a little different, creative. And so I enjoyed that part of your speech.
Thank you, Michael. Michael, thoughtful and direct to the point. Ms. Marilyn J., whenever you are ready.
Yes, I think you did a great job at helping us understand different types of leaders, and also being a leader on the more bureaucratic side towards the end, and having us all participate. You did a great job at introducing that and giving us something to be interested to participate in, and ending it in a very fun way. And it was a good speech.
Thank you, Ms. Marilyn, and I will pass this on to Sandy.
Since I didn't hear the speech, I will have to watch it on YouTube. Thank you.
Fair enough, and I will complete this with my portion of the evaluation. Mimi, I love the way that you structured this, how you introduced the different leadership types that this test had to do with. And not only that, you pointed out your strengths, you pointed out your weaknesses, but then rolled into how dynamic leadership is. And sometimes you have to be more altruistic to get consensus. Sometimes there's no time for it. Sometimes the point of the leader is not to create consensus, but to create a cohesive line where people can go in one direction. I appreciate your examples. I appreciate your vulnerability, stating your own weaknesses, your own strengths, and going from there. Thank you so much, Mimi. Yeah, that's time. And since I am the general evaluator, I believe I'm going to be handing this off to our different functionaries. So let me start with our canner.
That's me. All righty. So I'll start with myself. I had at least 3 ahs that I heard. You guys may have heard more, but I'm just going to be accountable for those. All right. We have Chanita. I heard at least 1 ah during your table topic there. And what I'll say is actually overall, you guys did really, really good. Everybody was being really conscious and focused and on point with their verbiage today. So I'll commend you all as a group for that. Mimi, you did not have any ahs or ums, but in your speech, you had a double clutch. And it's like, it was real easy to sort of skip over it. And I think it was he was like, and you had double clutched it a couple of times. So you got caught up there, but otherwise it was a really, really smooth delivery. We have Arturo. You had a few ahs, and that was during the table topics. And of course, that comes with kind of thinking of stuff and having it come to your head. It's still a word. You filled it right on in with those ahs. Michael, excelente, my dear. Miguel, excelente, my dear. Janit, excelente, my dear. And Sandy, you had, what is it? A like and is what we got out of you. But otherwise, you guys really did great. The word of the day just got whoa out. And I'll commend everybody on using the word of the day. The only people who didn't get it in was myself, unfortunately. And Michael and Miguel. I think we're the only ones that didn't get the word of the day in, but otherwise everybody did great. And it was a real big competition between Janet and Sandy for using it the most. You guys were very creative at just sneaking it in conversation. So you guys did great today.
Thank you so much. So and just to be sure, Ms. Marilyn J., you are our Woodmaster and the ah counter for the day, correct?
Yes, usually the ah counter is the word. Okay, not okay. Well, see, I just, that's just stepping up to the plate. All right, it's done.
All right, double hat. That's going to make this a little bit more simple. Can I get our timers report? Mr. Michael, if you will.
Yes, you may get the report. Let me get out my notebook. Mimi, your speech was just running out at the end there. We have 6 minutes and 57 seconds of great speaking. Janita, for your table topics, I owe you an apology, my friend, because I did not time you. I had to step away for just a minute. Next time I'll get you, but I'm sure it was amazing. Marilyn, your speech was 1:15. My speech was 1:24. Sandy's speech was 1:27. And Miguel, yours was 1:44. That is my report.
Fantastic. And did we have a grammarian for the day?
We left that one out.
That's who would usually do the word of the day, I guess, is the grammarian.
Okay. Sometimes we just double up. That's how we make this work. Miss Toastmaster, is that all the functionaries? I'm flying off the top of my head right now. I just want to make sure I don't miss anyone.
Yes, thank you so much for taking things off the cuff so well. And that is the completion of those parts. If you want to give a general evaluator's report or words of wisdom, feel free.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Overall, again, fantastic. I love the adaptability, the way that this teaches us not only to apply our speaking skills, but how we have to come together and make things work with the people that we have, which is a very, very common case in all areas of our life, in our work, in our personal life, in our social life, in any hobbies that we have, because everybody has a crazy life these days, and we have to come together and make things work. And I think that works so well with what Mimi was speaking on today, these different styles of leadership, these different styles of how to approach things, how to accomplish things. And when you get a group of leaders like this, how we come together, we choose a point and we get things done. And how much can even go into a 1 hour meeting, what it takes for us to get it done. So Toastmasters, my hat's off to you. Congratulations. And I will hand this back off to our Toastmaster, queen of everything.
Thank you very much. What a great meeting. What a good job everyone is doing to be able to jump in and take a role, and whether it's leadership or fellowship, we can do it. We do have, and drum roll please, we have a winner, I'm sure, for the Table Topics winner. And Arturo, unmute yourself so we will know what you're saying when you open your mouth. Can't hear you.
Give me a sec here. Looking it up. I'm asking who's the winner is, and I'm responsible for figuring it out. All right.
You should have a number of things sent to you.
Oh my God. Looks like the winner is Mr. Ooh, there's a tie here. Okay, it's gonna be.
You're the tiebreaker.
All right. I'm gonna say it's gonna be. Say it's gonna be. Oh man, that's a close one. I like both of them. All right, so the winner is gonna be. It's between Mr. Michael and Mr. Miguel. So. Man, they were both really good.
We're the same person.
I would
it's
say
the same name.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah, you
using
can
a
have
voice
it.
modulator.
Oh man.
Give it to Miguel.
Oh man.
He's nicer.
All right.
We can arm wrestle for it.
Oh my goodness. All right. The winner is, I'd say, Mr. Miguel, because I really admire how driven you are and having all these different all kinds of interests and stuff like that. And just the idea of being ageless and stopping time is just, man, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Master Arturo, Table Topics Master. I appreciate that. Does anyone have any particular thing to say before the meeting is complete? I know we often have things at the end of the meeting after the meeting has closed to set up for the following week. And I will ask Mimi the motivator if she'd like to do that within this meeting or close the meeting on time.
Well, since we have 7 minutes, I think I can get it done really fast. Right. Before I do that, I do want to make an announcement. Please go to your D26 calendar, D26 Toastmasters help me out, Sandy, is it .com or .org?
Org.
.org, because it is TLI time, which means it's time for us to be trained as leaders and officers. So know that TLI, Toastmasters Leadership Institute, is not just for officers only. They provide other type of trainings. There's always a keynote speaker. So get on there, find one that fits your schedule, because you don't have to attend the one for our division. There's Southern, there's Western, there's, I don't know. Get on there, get on the calendar, and find a date that works for your schedule, and go ahead and get signed up for that. I do want to encourage that. So next on my list is let's fill the roles for next week after I stop sharing this live and sharing all our business.